Alright, this is my home DIY humidifier. So this Quantum Riddler is pretty buckled, you won't be able to see it, and dented. You can see there it's been crumpled. It's not flat. So I'm going to pop it in this glass dish overnight, setting up the humidifier. In the spirit of making things accessible, I'm just using things you'll find around the house or you get easily. But when choosing something for the stand, first of all, you want something that's going to limit how much contact it's going to have with the card. You want it to lift the card up, flat and even, with as little contact as possible. So it sort of the card sits on the ridges of these clip. There's a bit of a bevel there, so it only just touches the edge. And you want something that's non-absorbent and non-reactive, so avoid metal. Plastic is best. Avoid wood. Because you want to avoid any corrosion that may impart onto the card, or something that would absorb the water and then wick that into the card unevenly. The amount of water you use, you really just want like a tiny amount. Go and get yourself some demineralized water and purified water. So I'm just leaving a layer enough to cover the bottom. So you can see the humidity condensing on the lid of the container, and then you can sort of see the water level, the clips. There we go. So this has been in the container for about 12 hours or so. So that much condensation is kind of the limit. I want to avoid putting this in the sun or in a place that's too warm, because you don't want the condensation to get too heavy and start dripping off the roof and falling onto the back of the card. It's very important that you make sure the card doesn't actually touch any water. It's just the humidity that we want for the card to just naturally absorb the moisture slowly and let it relax. So 12 hours in, just sitting on the clips, it's now really soft. Like it feels quite relaxed. You can sort of see there, it's like I can bend it, move it, manipulate it. See that dent is slowly raising out. I might just give it a little bit more. I'll just put a couple of drips on. I'm doing this one-handed, but avoid that. I'll give it probably another 2 hours, and then I'll press it. And then after pressing that, where is it? That little dent there should be gone. Cool. So this is blotting paper. Blotting paper is 100% cotton paper that's highly absorbent. It's good just to have on hand. But what will happen is we'll be using this blotting paper to draw the moisture out of the card in the press, and then that will then stabilize and equalize the moisture content of the paper. All right, now let's talk through setting up the press. So first thing, so you've got blotting paper. Want some rigid board like this. I'm using MDF here because it's most accessible. You just want something that's really flat and smooth, no texture, no dents or imperfections. You could use, melamine, or what I generally use is a 2 blocks of acrylic, but this will do for the DIY version. You want some baking paper. Now, you want to avoid crushed and creased baking paper because these creases will make an impression on the card. So just be very gentle when you're preparing it, that you have it nice and flat. Now, there's 2 sides to baking paper. There's a shiny side and a less shiny side. The shiny side is the waxed side. You want to avoid putting the wax side on the card because you could impress a layer of wax onto the outside of the card. The main reason for this is the gloss of Magic cards is very similar to the gloss of baking paper. And this initial press is using a lot of force, so you want a lot of weight pressing down onto it. I use a bench vise to clamp it in, but you can use like a bucket of water, big stack of books, some weights, something like that. About 30 kilos or something like that. It's good, and you want to leave it in there for, I'd say, 4 to 5 hours. And then, once that's done, the card will be set flat. The dents and that sort of thing will be gone, should be gone. And then we do the second stage, which is drawing the last bit of moisture out and locking it in place. All right. So with your blotting paper, you don't want to put too much pressure on it. Just like a heavy book, something like that, like a cookbook or something, just to hold it flat, and you do that for 12 hours or so, and the blotting paper will draw the moisture out of the card and lock it flat in that position. Alrighty. This is the card after the final press. See, it's nice and flat now. All those dents are gone. It's looking really nice. Pretty much good as new. So it still needs a little bit of time to acclimatise. So what I do is I put it in a sleeve, and then pop it in like a rigid top loader or something like that, just to let it settle for a couple of days. Give it 2 days, and then it should be fine to sleeve up and use. As I said, this is kind of the DIY version, so you don't have to go out and buy a $600 ultrasonic humidifier or any of the fancy stuff. I wouldn't use this technique on any Power 9 or valuable cards, but just for easy, simple, cheaper cards that have had a ding or a bit of damage, this is a really easy way for you guys to fix your own cards. Alrighty, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. What's up?